So you want to live in Kansas City, but you're not sure where. Might I suggest the suburbs? Okay, don't click off yet. I promise there are actually some really thriving, vibrant suburbs around the Kansas City metro, and I am counting them down in this series right now here on Rach the Realtor, the stars of the suburbs of Kansas City. But before we get to today's suburb, don't forget to subscribe so you can see the next ones as I count them down. So in no particular order, today we are focusing on, that's supposed to be a drum roll, Overland Park, Kansas. So Overland Park, Kansas, or OP, is the largest suburb in the Kansas City metro area. The only city with more residents in the whole metro is actually Kansas City, Missouri itself. So Overland Park is massive. It has everything you could ever look for, and there's a reason that people move there in droves. Overland Park is actually one of the areas that is consistently named one of the happiest places to live in the whole country. Actually, it gets national recognition on a regular basis in things like CNNmoney.com, Forbes, the Wall Street Journal, Business Week, the U.S. News and World Report. Publications like that are always calling Overland Park out for things like best suburb for families, best place to retire, best bang for your buck, happiest place, things like that. Overland Park is nationally recognized, and there's good reason for that. One of the reasons it gets such great publicity is its schools. Overland Park School District is called Blue Valley Schools. Blue Valley also pulls in kids from Leawood, Kansas and Stillwell, Kansas, but primarily this is Overland Park. These schools are nationally ranked, regionally recognized, and just about any publication where you can look into school rankings, they are super highly ranked. I really love Niche.com to rank schools, and they have Blue Valley Schools as #1 in the state of Kansas and #1 in the Kansas City metro area. The whole district has over 22,000 students in it, so it is massive, has a really good student-to-teacher ratio of 14:1. And according to Niche.com, their test scores are above average as well. Blue Valley schools are known for having things like a Chinese program and like orchestras and like a lot of extracurricular things that you don't find in every school. One of the biggest reasons that Overland Park is such a huge draw for people is the school district, and there are people just moving there in droves for that specific reason. Overland Park kind of feels very different depending on what part of the city that you're in. North Overland Park is north of 435. It's the older homes. So these are homes that were built more in the 50s and 60s, more just that classic like ranch style, 3-bed, 1-bath type of house. Those are pretty affordable, and that's an area that a lot of younger people are buying in so that they can be in Blue Valley schools if that's what their wish is, without paying the South Overland Park prices, because south of 435 is an area that has just boomed in the last 20-30 years. That's where all of the really big suburban homes are going in and have gone in for years. So that part of Overland Park, you're going to see houses that are easily 500,000 and above. Not all, but many, many, many of them. And then there are parts of Overland Park where we're seeing $1 million plus new builds going in as well. So Overland Park is not the cheapest place to live in the metro, but a lot of people are willing to pay the price because of the school district and because of the draw of living in Overland Park. So you will see houses that are more affordable, but if you take the same house and move it somewhere on the Missouri side, it's going to be way cheaper, if that makes sense. But some of those, the like downtown Overland Park, North Overland Park area, those are super cute, more like classic ranch homes. And then like more South Overland Park, you're going to see a lot more of the like, the word that's coming to head is McMansion. They're not mansions, but to some parts of the country they would be. Big, spacious houses, soaring high ceilings, nice finishes that have been built in the last 30, 20, 10, 5 years. That is another draw in Overland Park, is that areas, those neighborhoods, the subdivisions, and that South Overland Park area, it's really, you can really tell which subdivision you're in, really defined by like neighborhood pools, neighborhood amenities, and a lot of them are situated around elementary and middle schools, around schools. So that's kind of what the feel is in the neighborhoods in Overland Park. Another reason people love living in Overland Park is because there is just so much to do. Of course there is, since it's the second largest city in the whole metro, second to only Kansas City, which is, you know, the headliner. So in Overland Park, there's a ton of things to do for kids because it is such like a family-oriented area. Deanna Rose Children's Farmstead is super adorable, where kids can go pet like goats and rabbits and things like that. There's the museum at Prairie Fire that has like some Kansas history, and then they have like exhibits that come in, like here's the dinosaur exhibit for 3 months, and then now we're bringing in the space exhibit, that kind of thing. And then for the whole family, there's things like Top Golf, which is, if you haven't done it, I don't really, you just like golf from a platform, it scores you, it's kind of fun. And then Pinstripes, same concept kind of, it's like bowling alley and shuffleboard and more like indoor activities that you can do with like adults, where you're having beverages, or bring the kids and make it like a family thing. There's also a dinner theater in Overland Park called New Dinner Theater, which draws people of all ages as well, especially a lot of like older folks really love that place. So as you can see, there's something to do for all ages in Overland Park. And then of course, you're just a short drive away from downtown as well, which brings me to my next point. Overland Park is super conveniently located right off 435. Of course, once you're getting into the way south part of Overland Park, you do have a little bit of a haul to get to 435, which is kind of a main thoroughfare, blah, blah, hope I said that right, around the city. So that's nice. You can get to downtown easily, get to other suburbs pretty easily. The worst two things that are a little rough about living in Overland Park and just Johnson County in general is, and Johnson County is the county that Overland Park is in on the Kansas side, and it's like a whole thing. Like Johnson County is, it's a lot when a lot of people are like referring to the Kansas side of the metro. Johnson County is what they're thinking of as like the ritzy suburbs, if you will, but I digress. Number one, it seems like 435 is always under construction because population is just growing so fast over there. They keep having to expand and change the roads. So there's not a lot of traffic in Kansas City, but if you're going to run into it, it's probably going to be right in this area. Number two is just, it's really far from the airport. Overland Park is on the southwest side of the city. The airport's on like the northeast side of the city. So it's a haul. So if you are someone that travels a lot for work, Google Maps your commute from where you're looking to move to the airport, because that is a big factor for sure. So something to think about. But even so, many people move to Overland Park specifically because they want to be there. In fact, some people move to the Kansas City metro just to be in Overland Park. It's a very desirable place to live by many people. It's what you think of like classic suburbia with like all the Nordstroms and like the higher end type of shops and restaurants. So it's a great place to live, obviously, as it's making lots of national lists. And if you want to know more about Overland Park or anywhere in the Kansas City metro, I'm your gal, Rach the Realtor, here giving you the scoop on all things Kansas City. Don't forget to hit subscribe so that we can chat again soon. Okay, see you next time. Bye.